I keep reading in Prog Archive's reviews that Steve replaced Ant, and I found that to be a little bit strange, because I never thought of that. For starters, they are very different. One is more acoustic and the other electric. And even if you look at the timeline stating that the fact is one left and then came another, that's also wrong because the band tried to continue without a guitarist before Steve, prompting Mike to play more bass pedals and Tony to play the guitar parts on keyboard. The famous short 4-piece period. It doesn't help that when I think about Steve Hackett, I usually have the words Genesis and guitarist in my mind as the first words. And when I think about Anthony Phillips, it's Genesis and founder. Then Peter Gabriel left, he got replaced, in quotes, by Phil Collins, a drummer that sings from within the band, that didn't use wacky costumes or play the flute or even proposed many lyrics and melodies at the time. Peter was considered a leading force within the band, the other founder that left, the senior member, and so on. Phil just took one of his roles and replaced that, and for the most part, nothing else. Steve Hackett left, and again, no one else was added to the core writing group. Just live acts needed someone else. Who took one of Steve's roles was Mike Rutherford. And again, Mike and Steve are very different. Mike ended developing his own style that suited the songs, but with Steve, songs would have been different, would have had different sections, or solos would have been played differently. So yes, there's a lack of Steve, a lack of Peter and Ant, since they left and they were never fully replaced. The band kept existing with what they had, and what they had sometimes gave nods to previous members and their sound, because people get influenced. And within the band, they always tried to add that particular Genesis sound from time to time, and that sound was defined by everything they had done up to that point. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? Even Ray Wilson wasn't a Phil Collins replacement. They also had to call 2 drummers, and still, their input never replaced Phil because the 2 main members had already written most of the material and defined the sound of the album beforehand as well. And they thought about Phil in it too, because Phil influenced them for 25 years. Now, to end in a sense, the core of Genesis has been the same since the start, or at least a piece of that, and the members that come and go have added to that core. The influences of the people into others also don't go unnoticed. So many years of having an idea of what the band is, the sum of its parts. Since the beginning, the band had beats and songs that didn't include the others, but for most of the creative force, the same 2 members derived from the 2 different school bands that formed Genesis. There's an argument about missing the ones that left, but I don't think there's one to complain about the ones that are in. I think that it's more odd that they left just as they did their best contributions to the band. Steve with Blood on the Rooftops, Peter with The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and Phil with Driving the Last Spike. Exception being Anthony Phillips, but I guess he left at the exact moment when the band had enough self-esteem to continue. If he had left earlier, that could have been the end of Genesis. I think that a new Genesis reunion could work if they had a set of rules. I don't think that an album could work, but one song at least would be fine. Or maybe have one song and one reunion for a song and then another reunion for another song. But I don't know, this is just speculation. I don't know why I added this last part, but whatever. Thank you for hearing this SchimnesTalk and have a good weekend. I don't know, whatever. Have a good one.